Okay, we're going to look at the basics of what happens when you first look at the Grade Center in Blackboard. So you can see I'm in a brand new Blackboard shell. And to get to the Grade Center, you're going to go down into the control panel, click on Grade Center, and Full Grade Center. We'll look at just that for the moment, which is what you'll need to look at initially. So here's our Full Grade Center coming up. You can see I have a few students in here. And a scroll bar, so I can't see everything. One of the limitations about Blackboard 9.1 is, or Blackboard in general, is that these columns are fixed width. You cannot change the width of the columns. You can only change your view of them to see more. So sometimes what I will do to see more columns is I will, while I'm working in the Grade Center, hide the course menu. I can bring it back again if I want, but typically I want to hide the course menu so I can see more columns. You can see I still can't quite see all of them. And by default, when you first start out, you have these two frozen columns with the students' names, these four columns which give you information on the students that you see and your students don't, and then you have two total columns. Your students see both of those columns, and I recommend you choose which of the total columns you're going to use, either the weighted total or the total, and just delete the other one. If you change your mind later, it's really easy to add them back. So if you're going to keep the total column, it's really easy. You can click on the action link of weighted total and scroll down and delete the column. However, if you want to keep the weighted total, you go click on the total column and you can't delete it. That's because there's one column in Blackboard that is set as the external grade, and it has a little green check mark beside it. So that's what's going on. So if we're going to keep the weighted total, we have to set it as the external grade. Pretty easy. And now it has a green check mark, and we can delete the total column. It does take a little bit of work to set up a weighted total column, and I'm not going to discuss that in this beginning video. So now we've got our total column that our students are going to see. We've got our frozen columns with our students' names. There's these four columns which you may or may not find useful. I typically like to see the last access, but the other information I can get elsewhere. So I will hide those columns so I can see more of my data. And you see I'm just clicking on the action link and hiding them. You can get them back later, no worries. So I've hidden all those columns. I've got a really simple basic Grade Center. I can see. If I decide I want one of those columns back, I can go up to Manage, Column Organization, and you can see here's the layout. These are the columns that you see. Here are our frozen ones. Here are those ones that you see and your students don't see, and then here are the grading columns. So maybe you want to see the username. So I'm going to click on Username. I'm going to click on Show Selected Columns, and then Submit, and the username is back. So it's pretty easy. Let me note that there are various browser issues with the Grade Center, and I am using Firefox right now. I have problems in Safari deleting columns and having them, or hiding columns and having them be hidden. So that is important to note. If something doesn't look right, try a different browser. The last thing I want to talk about in this introductory session is the icon legend. Oh, there's two more things. And you can see you have that and your student has this, but this just helps you see what the various little icons Blackboard gives you in the Grade Center. And there is one more thing I want to talk about, and that is sorting columns. You can sort by any column in the Grade Center by just clicking on it. So if I want to sort by first name, I can click on it again, I sort in reverse order. Most of the time we'll sort on last name, but sometimes I want to sort on last access. These students haven't joined yet, to see who has not logged in. So, or click on one of the other totals. So that's our beginning Grade Center view.